Good afternoon, this is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and I bring you guys new Solfachord cards that just got revealed as well. So these cards got revealed earlier today with the same thing with the Tellarknight cards. I had some Christmas errands done, so I couldn't make this video. But now I am tackling it later on today. And let's go straight into this. I think these two cards we got for Solfachord are fantastic. I don't think they make the deck stupid, but it is well-deserved support. So if you don't know, Solfachords came out in a set with two other archetypes. So it came out with the Ursartics, and it came out with the Snake deck, the really cool Light and Dark Chaos Snake deck. Now, all three of these decks have never seen competitive play. The only one that's possibly have is Autoatics, which is the Snake deck. And that deck, it was competitive for like a month when it first came out, and it hasn't touched anything. Because snakes, even though the reptiles are fantastic, it wasn't enough. They didn't have enough payoff. They didn't give them a bosser in like the extra deck. There's no extra deck to access. Really cool chaos synergies. Even some layer of darkness synergies as well, because they do tribute cards. So there are some really cool things you can do, but not enough to really break into the meta. So there's always been a rogue deck, but Solfachords and Ursartic never reached the limelight. Ursartic, they gave him a draw 7, and that deck still didn't even get like enough. Like they have a card that literally says draw 7 that turn. Stupid. And yet the deck still does not work. It is awful. But it was really cool synchro mechanic because it used synchros using reverse levels. You had to have like a level 6 and a level 1, but like that makes you a level 1 synchro. It was weird. You had to look into it. But let's go straight into this. So now we have the Pendulum deck that never was. This is probably one of the worst Pendulum decks we ever received. I love this deck. One of my friends, Taylor, he loves this deck. This deck is really beautiful. Its spell cards are fantastic. There's some really great potential cards in this deck. But they never gave him, like, another wave of support. They gave him, like, I think one Link 2, and then nothing else. And then this deck has been sitting on the back burner forever. But now we got two new cards. Let's just go straight into them. So, first things first, we have Grand Solfachord Corellia, or Grand Solfachord Corellia. That's a Light Fairy Link 3, 2700. It's 2+ materials, including a pendulum monster, so it's generic. Any pendulum that can make this card, which is fantastic because its effects are great. Gains 100 attack for each pendulum monster in the extra deck. Fantastic. It requires 3 monsters, including a pendulum. You're at least guaranteed 3 materials right there. So it's already a 3000 Link 3. That's amazing. Activate effects of pendulum monsters this card points to cannot be negated. So it has the Link 2 effect of Splight Elf, which is kind of insane because if you have negators in this card's Link zone, they can't do anything. So that's kind of insane for pendulum decks because they can now negate shit and you can't really respond to it, which is actually insane just for like pendulums in general. I mean, its third effect, which is more towards this archetype, basically has the effect where once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster or a card effect, you can special summon a odd pendulum scale from your pendulum zone to the zone this card points to. Add 1 Solfachord pendulum monster if you do negate that card. This card also negates shit. Now, of course, it only negates with Solfachords, and it is an add. You need an odd scale, so that's kind of strange. And then it puts an even scale into the pendulum zone. So for Solfachords, that's kind of insane because they have the whole gimmick of weird scales. But just for the simple fact that this card is not only makes all the cards in the zone it points to unable to be negated. So you have like, let's say Odd Eyes. What's the Odd Eyes negate? The Odd Eyes Revoke Dragon. This card just negates. It's just stupid. It prevents your monsters from being negated. And also, it's a negate itself. This card is stupid. And it gains 100 attack for each card in the extra deck. That's insane. Face-up extra deck, of course. But still, this card is a 10 out of 10 when it comes to printing. All 3 effects are solid as hell. And I'm so happy Konami gave him this. Now, for pure Solfachord, I have no idea how they're making this fucking thing. They could probably spam 3 material, and they probably can make this thing kind of easy. But adding on any extra additional payoffs, I'm not really sure. But just for its first and second effect alone, I can see this card being played in Pendulum strategies. Just because it's generic, and it prevents your opponent from activating cards in response to monsters this card points to. This card has 2 arrows pointing down, guys. This card literally just says, hey, you can't respond. I have an Odd Eyes of Vortex Dragon in my spell and trap zone. Doesn't matter. You can't. It's an automatic gate that you can't respond to. Stupid. Or what happens if I have like a compulse card? This card just compulses a card. Like Kieran. Oh my god. And I can't respond to it because it's pointing to the zone. This literally is stupid. And I'm so happy about this Link 3. Now we also have this incredible spell card, which is Solfachord Symphonia. It's a quick play spell. It kind of reminds me of that quick play spell that Pendulums used to play. I'm trying to figure the card. It's not as broken as that card, but it reminds me of it, where it like pops the pendulum scales in order to do an effect. I'm blanking on the card. You all know what I'm talking about. But it like blows up the pendulum scales to do that. This card kind of reminds me of that because it gets effects, and they just keep growing in effects. So first effect is you apply these effects in sequence based on a number of Solfachord pendulum monsters with different names from the extra deck. So the more names you have in the extra deck, the more advantage you get from this card. So you have 3 or more. All Solfachord monsters you currently control gain attack equal to its own level by 300 and times 300 until the end of the turn. That's insane. There's Solfachords of like level 8 attack. So some of these that doesn't make sense what I just said. When I say level 8 attack, I meant to say they are level 8 monsters in this deck. Meaning if you have those on the field, this card is 8 times 3. It's gaining a 2400 boost right now. That's insanely good. That is incredibly a 2400 boost on some of these monsters. You're going to be able to push for game so much more easier, which was the other issue with this deck. Pushing for game was so awful. If you have 5 or more, you can destroy 1 card your opponent controls, and then if you have an odd pendulum zone, draw 1 card, which is just fantastic. This card that says pop draw. Also, they all gain an attack because you get increasing effects. You don't just choose one of them. You get all the effects the more you go. And now if you have 7 or more, which I think is pushing it, you can special summon 1 grand Solfachord monster from your extra deck. Meaning you can special summon the Link 2 or the Link 3, which is insane. Free from the extra deck, which is nutty to help push your game. Now, are you going to have 7 different named Solfachords in your extra deck face up? Probably not. But the 5 and the 3 is definitely more likely. And this card has potential. I think it's a cool one-of because it is searchable. I definitely think the Link 3 has the most potential out of all these cards. But this card, Wavering Eyes. I think it was Wavering Eyes I was thinking. No, I don't think it was Wavering Eyes. I'm really blanking on that spell card. That was a quick play that blows up the scales. It might be Wavering Eyes. I could be mistaken. But you can all let me know in the comments below. But I think this card has potential. Anyway, take care.